Chuck Kaiton, Hall of Fame voice of the Whalers and Hurricanes for 39 years, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. What was your biggest takeaway from last night's game?
Well, the biggest takeaway, first of all, Adam, thanks for having me on again. I've been a very interested observer, as you could imagine,
yes.
like a lot of Hurricane fans are, and the observation I had came very early in the game. I don't know if a lot of people picked up on this, but I did not like the loss of, from a Rangers standpoint, the loss of one-on-one battles against the boards. I saw danger signals in that game very early, that the Rangers were not coming to that game last night with the same mindset that the Hurricanes had, and that is you've got to win it in the trenches, you've got to win those battles, you've got to play well in your own end and not play loose defensively. I thought the Hurricanes had too much room in the neutral zone to make plays and to gather speed as the game went on, and even despite the fact that Trouba scored that short-handed goal, going into that third period, I still felt that the Hurricanes had their legs. They had the intensity requisite to win a hockey game, and certainly it looked like the Rangers were a bit of a flat team, which I was very surprised to see in light of the way they played in Game 4 with their comeback from 3-1, despite Shea's power play goal late in that game.
Chuck Kaiton is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Too much room in the neutral zone manifested itself in the stall goal because Dmitry Orlov was allowed to basically just loiter with the puck outside the blue line while Carolina was in the midst of a line change. I was surprised that he did not get pressured more. I mean, he was just standing there waiting, and the Rangers did not go after him to at least make him do something with the puck, and he was allowed to wait till Stahl came on the ice. And then I thought Braden Schneider and Keandre Miller were both asleep.
Yeah, they were flat-footed on that play. There was a bad line change, and then the Hurricanes took advantage of it, and a good change, because if I recall, Stahl came off the bench to take that pass, and so it left everybody flat-footed. But, from New York's standpoint, there's really no excuse for not Peter Laviolette is going to put a good face on this. At least, we competed, we played hard, but they didn't. I still don't think they matched the intensity, and they gave too much room to the Hurricanes to be able to make plays, even in their end. I think the Hurricanes were dangerous even earlier in the game with scoring chances, and they got maybe psychologically intimidated early with Shesterkin's goaltending that they didn't shoot the puck in areas that you would normally see them shoot the puck. And then they got that together and simplified their game. I'm sure Rod Brind'amour spoke about that going into the third period in the second intermission, that, guys, when you got that shot, you got to take the shot and cause chaos, and they did. And I think you summed it up about 20, 25 minutes ago, and I was listening to you, Adam, about taking shots from all angles. Yeah. That's been kind of the modus operandi of the Hurricanes for most of Rod Brind'amour's tenure. He simplifies the game for these guys, and all they have to do is work at it, and they've got the foot soldiers. That's another concern I would have if I'm Peter Laviolette. I don't think he's got as much physicality as we've seen the Hurricanes show in the last couple of games.
Isn't that interesting? Because that's the knock on you, and I were talking about this offline before the series, before the playoffs started. The Hurricanes are known as a team that you can push around. And theoretically, the Rangers, with guys like Trouba, right, and to an extent Matt Rempe, who has had zero impact in the two games that he's played, and they definitely miss Filipino as a game changer for them among their offensive forwards. He actually played second-line center before he went out with his concussion ahead of Vincent Trocheck, and then we all see what Trocheck has been like this year. But the Rangers have not shown the physicality that, say, Florida did a year ago in that series where Florida manhandled Carolina for a lot of that series. I've been a little surprised that we haven't seen a little bit more physicality. They have some guys who can do it. Trouba certainly can. Barclay Goodrow certainly can. Jimmy Vesey certainly did. I think it was in Game 2. But so that has been a little bit of a surprise, but I appreciate the fact that the Hurricanes have really taken the fight to the Rangers. I'm not like snowed by the hit total. The hit totals have favored the Rangers. I think Carolina's been the more physical team.
Yeah, I think what impact hits, and you have to go back to the game where Svechnikov was a wild man in the first period,
Yeah.
even though they did blow the 3-1 lead in that game. I mean, he set the tone. I would expect that's going to happen again on Thursday night at home because you get juiced up with the crowd and you've got that little pep in your step. And the only thing I would say is, there's guys like Keandre Miller that's not using his size. As you said, Trouba, will make the hit. But again, I still think giving too much room to make plays has been the Achilles heel for the Rangers, and good on the Hurricanes because what they've done is now they've used the mantra of we've got to live to play another day.
Right.
Now I think in a funny way the pressure will be off the New York Rangers coming in Thursday, and they will be the team that the Hurricanes will be the team under more pressure to perform at home. And if they can get over that hurdle psychologically, it's a mind game.
Yes.
I can't think that the Rangers can play three, and I'm not going to say three complete subpar games because certainly Game 4 wasn't that way. But I thought that they were just terrible last night, and the Hurricanes took good advantage of it. And, are they going to play two bad games in a row? That's the question, but they have to answer that question themselves. But I think the Hurricanes are going to be consistent, and they're not going to vary their style or vary their intensity level because they're still the team that is the underdog on it. But, funnier things have happened, and could they be the fifth team in history to battle back from 3-0 down? I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I think they got a good opportunity to be the fifth team to come back from 3-0 down to win a series.
Well, here's the thing about it. Chuck Kaiton is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. If you go in history, only 9 teams. There have been, I think, 205 teams that have been 3-0 ahead in a best-of-7 series. Only 9 have ever taken it to a Game 7.
Wow.
So, right?
Yeah.
So 5 of them did not win the series. 4, including the 2014 LA Kings, led in many ways by Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7. Those only 4 have ever won it. But interestingly enough, the teams, I think 4 of these 9 have happened in the last 15 years. So it's become a little bit more, not prevalent, but because it's certainly not, but it's been a little bit more possible. I don't know what you make of that, but I think Carolina, first of all, I don't think the Hurricanes, they were down 3-0 in the series, but unlike last year, I don't think there were, other than the power play, I don't think there was anything at all between these two teams. The Hurricanes could have been down 2-1. They could have been up 2-1 if they had gotten a break here or there. They were down 3-0. That's where they were. But I don't feel like they have really been outplayed except on special teams.
Yeah, and that could be frustrating psychologically, but the Hurricanes don't seem to be persuaded that way to feel down about it. I think you're right, Adam, and I think Ray Ferraro on the broadcast last night on ESPN said it best, that he said, nobody expected this to be a sweep or a 5-game series, but it was also an odd way to turn it into 3 games to 2 now. And it doesn't matter how it happens, whether there are 3-game winning streaks and now a 2-game winning streak to get you there, but everybody thought it would be a long series, and that's what we're seeing now because these two teams were only separated by, 3 points in the regular season, and you could argue that either could have won the division, and I guess that what I'm saying is expect the unexpected because I think Hurricane fans remember 2 years ago when everybody won their home games, and then Game 7 came along and it was a clunker, and the Rangers ended up, I think, winning that game 6-2 or something like that.
Yeah, they got off to a good start. 2 power play goals in that game. Rangers scored 4 power play goals in the last 2 games of that series. And if that happens again, and it'll lead me to the next point, if that happens again, Carolina's obviously in trouble because it doesn't look like their power play is going to be able to match if the Rangers go crazy again. But the penalty kill, and Trip Tracy brought this up to me yesterday in our conversation for the pregame show. The first game was vintage Rangers power play, where they scored 2 beautiful, quick passing, creating 2-on-1 opportunity goals. That was just tremendous. They did that twice. The other 2 power play goals were essentially goals that could have been avoided if Carolina was stronger and Freddie Anderson was stronger in front of his net. Those 2 power play goals that ended up being the difference in Game 2. But the Since then, the Hurricanes' penalty kill has looked vintage. 8 in a row. Last night was great, 3 for 3. The game before was 4 for 4, I believe. Or no, 1. They were 1 for 1, and then the game before that they were 4 for 4. So the penalty kill looks like it's kind of getting back to what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely, and that's again, when everybody talks about penalty killers have to work hard and work smart to kill a penalty. Well, you have to be smart on your entries into the zone with the power play team too, and not just mindlessly dump the puck in. And if you're not going to work hard enough to retrieve it to set up your power play, which I think has been the problem with the Rangers lately on their power play, you're going to get easy clears down the ice and killing time. And I think that another aspect, I think the Rangers are taking for granted, well, we'll get the puck in the zone and we'll make these pretty plays. They're not moving the puck fast enough as they did in the first game. And they're also getting a little lazy in being complacent. And the Hurricanes, the Hurricanes really could have scored a couple of shorthanded goals themselves last night. I mean, they were very aggressive. They're back to their smart aggressiveness on the penalty kill. And again, it's who's going to outwork whom, who's going to outthink whom on those specialty team situations. That is going to be the difference. And right now, the Hurricanes seem to be trending upward that way, obviously, and the Rangers have to answer some questions. But I guess they'll have to answer a couple of lineup questions tomorrow, too, because I'm hearing there's a possibility that both Philip Hedl and Blake Wheeler could be in the lineup tomorrow night, or I should say Thursday night for New York. And again, game planning for them. I mean, Hedl had one good scoring opportunity that I remember in Game 4.
Yes.
And then got hurt. But so I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. But if I'm Rod Brind'amour, I'd be pretty satisfied, and rightly so, the way the Hurricanes are playing right now.
No question. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to criticize Rod Brind'amour because all of Twitter is doing that right now.
You know what? He's got that little gray streak in his hair.
It does.
He should color that.
No. He likes it. I think there's an Elvira thing about it. I think it works for him.
No. Wait a minute. I got another criticism of him. He only spent an hour and a half working out this morning.
Oh, yes. It's a day off. It's obviously a day off. Freddie Anderson in net. A lot of people thought, based on Kochetkov playing, I thought pretty well in game 3, even though he went back to Anderson in game 4, who got the win. We could argue that Anderson has not been great. He's been okay in this series. That a lot of people thought should have gone back to Piotr. Blah blah blah. You have thoughts? Does it matter to you who Carolina starts in goal?
Yeah, I do think it matters, and I think they should stay with Fred Anderson. The bottom line to me is you've got your number one goalie. I thought, and I even thought that, not to second-guess Rod, I mean, he's close to the situation, but I think that Kochetkov is going to be a good goaltender, but I think to throw him in, especially in a situation like this again, you wouldn't do it. I mean, they got over the hump on that because, even though Kochetkov lost that game, Anderson came back with a good performance, even though he allowed that stinky goal to Lafreniere to tie the game. In Game 4, he bounced back from it in last night's game. So I don't have any problem with Anderson. I think that the biggest thing that he's got to do is make the key save at the key time, which he did last night. He didn't have a lot of work, but he did make the stops when he needed to. But again, I think he's going to face a little bit more of a push, unless I miss my guess, on Thursday from the Rangers, because I think the pressure point changes now, as I said before, Adam. And I know it's a wild and crazy thing to say, but I think there's more pressure on home teams to perform, especially when your back's against the wall. I guess what I'm saying is I'd rather be up 3-2 going into the other venue. And it's just as the Hurricanes went into Madison Square Garden last night, down with nothing to lose. I think you can play looser, but the thing that Peter Laviolette's got to worry about is your big guns better show up a little bit better and play better defensively. And I'm talking about guys that were prominent early, like the Trocheks, the Canarins, the Lafrenieres. Where did they go last night? nowhere to be seen. Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad. So you keep those guys off the board and prevent them from getting a lot of opportunities, and I think the Hurricanes will send this back to the Garden on Saturday.
Yeah, those guys have all been defending in their own end a lot because Jordan Staal and Sebastian Aho, the top line wasn't on the score sheet last night, but they had the puck a lot. So even if you don't necessarily score, if you have the puck, the guys you're playing against can't. But Chuck Kaiton, you know all of that because you're a Hall of Fame voice of the Whalers and Hurricanes for 39 years. And I appreciate you coming on the program. We'll do it again.
Thank you very much, Adam. Always a pleasure, and we'll see what happens. I just wish there wasn't 2 days between games. I mean, I can't stand all this excitement, you know?
I'm ready to go to the arena tonight. So
I know. I heard you earlier, and I totally concur with you.
I'm ready to play. Let's go. Chuck, thank you so much. We'll talk again later.
You've got it. Thank you, Adam.
The best. Chuck Kaiton.